Hey guys, welcome to the Rat Grind channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is episode 37 and I wanted to give you guys some crypto market updates and also some analysis of Bitcoin and as well as Ethereum and looking at the overall market in general. And then we're going to go through some news. So let's get right into it, guys. So just a friendly reminder, if this is your first time coming to this channel and watching these videos, please do support the channel by subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you know whenever I put out new content and new videos, as well as smash the likes, please. If you like the video, if you're finding some value in it, please do smash the likes, and I look forward to hearing from you. Give me your comments, give me your feedback on what else you'd like me to cover, and as well as give me your feedback. Give me your feedback on what you think I should improve on this particular channel so that I can be able to continually provide you more value. So today, let's get started with the let's first get started with the daily rat grind. So the crypto markets are back in the green, guys, and Bitcoin is showing some bullish signs and could potentially go up to 8K, test that level again. We'll look at the charts. I put together a whole brand new chart, some new analysis for you guys. I erased completely, like I told you guys, I erased the old charts and we're starting fresh since we basically hit a massive drop off over the last couple weeks. So I wanted to just start fresh so that we could be able to see what we could be able to get out of that. And also Ethereum bounces today, but still, from what I can see, still showing some bearish sentiment, guys, right? And there's been some bad news in the EU that caused the general markets to tank. Also, so for some practical coin news, South Korea is potentially going to be lifting its ICO ban, which is very bullish news. And South Africa is launching, one of the firms, financial firms in South Africa, is launching a crypto exchange with $14 billion, right? And Titanium's ICO is being charged by the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission here in the US, for making false statements. So if you're invested in Titanium, sorry to hear that, but it's definitely some very, very bad news. And also I want you guys to mark your calendars, right? June 13th, 2018 is going to be a time that you'd want to pay attention to. So let's get right on it, guys. So the first bit of news that I want to be able to share you guys is Italy has revived the euro crisis fear. Back in early, I believe 2011, 2012, they were laden with debt and there was a big crisis in the Eurozone trying to figure out, are they going to default in their debt, right? So today, there has been some political turmoil in Italy that has sparked a global market sell-off because their currencies went down. The bank, as you can see here, I'm not sure if it is, it's not in this particular chart. So it caused the Dow Jones average to drop today, and because of the Italian politics, basically the Italian president vetoed one of the prime minister's choice for an economic minister, right? The finance minister, and he wants to bring in his own team. So that's causing a lot of craziness. There was a related article to this, basically 5 things investors, you and I, must watch as Italy turmoil shakes global markets. So the first thing that we're going to look at is there's going to be another round of elections, right? We're going to try to see what goes into that. Italian President Sergio Mattarella rejected the far right established economy minister Paolo Savona. So who he wants is Carlo Cottarelli, who is the former IMF economist, right? So we're gonna see how that pans out, because that's definitely created a lot of shakiness in the Italian government and the eurozone exit. Like the GDP, because of this, the GDP of Italy will go up to about 150, which um basically that's the GDP to debt ratio that they have. Currently it's 132. And it's gonna be clashing with the euro's efforts to try to curb and their mandate to more prudent fiscal responsibility. So we're gonna see how that all pans out, because they're either gonna have to change the EU rules, or I'm not sure how it's going to make sense for Italy to remain an EU member. And there's also going to be peripheral panics, of course, around the market. There's Spain, Portugal, that also, is going to be watching out for this particular news, and potentially it's going to create some more problems, because there's also um, the Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy faces a no confidence motion on Friday after several people linked him to corruption and his party to corruption. So there's a lot of things that are going to be happening, not only Italy, but of course it's going to create more instability within the eurozone. And one last thing, I just want to show you guys this. Unicredit, one of the biggest banks in Italy, as you can see, the Italian bond dropped dramatically. That's insane, guys. That's crazy, right? So that's because of the credit rating downgrade, because there was a large sell-off. And the other thing, there's going to be a bond auction this week. So we're going to try to see if people are going to buy the bonds of the Italian government, the Italian central bank. So we're going to see how that all pans out. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on that. So let's move on to some crypto news, guys. Let me just get a sip of water. So as you can see, guys, the crypto markets are fantastically back in the green. Ethereum increased about 8.46% today. Bitcoin 5%. Ripple 10.35%, Litecoin and Neo both respectively. One is 7% and the other one is closer to 8%. So that's really, really good news. There's still some redness in the market, but that's to be expected. As you can see, they're majority the smaller market cap coins. Let's look at coin market cap. So as of today, the market cap of the whole crypto market is $330 billion. Closer to 331, right? And the 24-hour volume is 19 billion, 270 million, right? So market cap 330 billion and 24-hour volume 19 billion. And the Bitcoin dominance has slowed down. I believe yesterday was 39.9 and today is 38.8. If you look at the price graphs here on the right side, you can see it pumped up. Ripple 11%, Bitcoin Cash 13%, Cardano 14%, Stellar Lumens 15%, IOTA 17%. So majority of the top 100 coins. Well, Bitcoin is 28%, guys, and ICX, guys. That's really, really good news. Let's look at EOS. All right. So EOS is back. It's recovered significantly over the past, from its highs the last couple of weeks. So that's really, really good, great news. But we're gonna have to see how this all pans out. 0RX is back to 23.38%, back to $1.34. That's really, really good price for that coin. It's still a ways from its all-time highs, but definitely a good buy right now. So there's a lot of there's definitely a lot of great things that are happening in the crypto market. So let's look at the chart. So we're looking at the Bitcoin chart. As you can see, I redrew the charts and I placed new resistance zones in this particular area. This is basically the 61.8 Fibonacci area. excuse me, and we need to break through that. So currently we had a really big bullish excuse me guys, every time I talk my throat just gets super dry, and you know, the weather here in SoCal is just so dry. I think I need a humidifier here in my home office. So I apologize for that, guys. As you can see, if we're looking at the charts here, there was a massive buy, you know, bullish buying that had happened today, but it hit some resistance right here. But although it did hit some resistance, as you can see, there was some indecision in this particular candle right here, that we're looking at the 4-hour chart. So, but you know, it went ahead and continued that green sentiment, but it definitely is hitting some major resistance right here. Let's look at the, I'm going to add the 20-day moving average line and the 200-day moving average line, and also the 50-day moving average line, so you guys can be able to see that. So as you can see, the 50-day moving average line is currently rejecting the price, right? So we need to be able to break through. So these are some of the resistance level which are going to act as a support. I drew up the Fibonacci line right here. And potentially, if I was going to play this, I would wait for it to break out of this, because once it breaks out of this, it breaks out in this channel line, right? We're looking at, usually this is this flag pattern right here is definitely a good sign for a bullish reversal, right? So usually this is a good sign if it is able to break through this this trend line right here. And if it does break through that, it will also break through this 50% Fibonacci line, and so it's going to be a great sign, and it would have been able to break through the 50-day the 50-day moving average line. And it's, you know, there's still some rejection that may happen over here, but that's going to be on the 8,000 level. So I'm hoping that it's gonna go back up here, and it's going to test the 8,000 level right here. So we're going to have to watch out in the next couple of days what happens. And it's, you know, it's very bullish the way I'm seeing it right now, because as you can see, there was this massive 4-hour candle that happened beginning about the second week of April, right? And right now what has happened is it's dropped off within that zone, right? Within that zone, guys, and it consolidated in their area, and it was able to recover up. So that's a really good sign. Every time we have these big long candles, that's usually a problem, because that's a sign that that's not that strong. Let's look at the volume in that at that time. So if you look at the volumes at that time, there was a massive increase at that time. So there's still some volume here, but not as much. We want to be able to see more volume coming into this particular market. Let's look at the RSI, guys. And the MACD. So the RSI is the relative strength index. It will tell us if it's oversold or overbought. Right now it's not, it's still going up, right? It hasn't hit the 70 level, which would be a sign that it's currently oversold. Overbought, and we haven't hit that yet. So usually when it hits that, that's when it usually drops, but there's still a ways to go. And the MACD line shows that, you know, the histogram still shows that we could definitely see still some upward movement in this particular crypto, but we need to be able to break through the 50-day moving average line here and then bounce off. It can break through the 38.20 line, the Fibonacci line, then that's a good sign. And I'm looking into making a play right above here, breakout entry zone, and sort of see if it could be able to break out from here and then break through here in my hits of resistance right here as it touched the MA, but the 200 moving average line. But then again, I would have been able to take some profits out if that's the case, and if I need to, right? So that's my play. I would probably play it right here, put my stop loss around here, and play that gain. Let's look at how much would that be. So if I went ahead, let's go back to this. So if we bought in at around here, put the stop loss at about here. Hold on, guys. So that we could be, so that's a pretty good, even if we put the, so that's about 2.79 risk to reward ratio, about 3%. So definitely we could potentially lose 1.70% and potentially gain 4.76%. So I like those odds. I may make that play if we get there towards the tail end of the week. But other than that, I'm going to be holding fast and seeing where the market goes, right? So let's look at Ethereum, guys. So Ethereum is the same thing, as you can see, there's still some heavy resistance right here, and it turned red. This is why I was saying initially in the introduction part that it's definitely hitting major resistance on the 50-day moving average line, and as well as this 38.20 Fibonacci line. It's hitting some resistance at around 580. It broke through that, but it, like I said, it could not break through that particular line, and we're seeing some major resistance, and we turn to a red candle. We're looking at the 4-hour chart. So there's definitely major resistance right here. Let's draw out this particular area right here. It's hitting some major resistance right here. So we need to be able to break through all of that. Let's draw out a channel line right here. So that's a good channel for that. We could sorry about that. My tools are acting a little bit crazy. Let's see if we can clean that up a little bit. Okay, so touch there, and we'll see if you can be able to touch it. So there's a lot of bearish signs that are keeping it down. So we have the 50-day moving average line. That is a major point of resistance that it's currently hitting, that it is unable to break up through. And then it's also hitting the 38.20 percent line right here of the Fibonacci line, and there's so many levels for it to be able to break through, for it to be able to break out of this particular channel. And then the 200-day moving average line is also a point of contention there. So we're seeing a confluence here that is definitely could drop more, right? It's gonna, if it continue to reject there in the next couple of days or so, I think it can continue to drop and maybe hit around here. And looking at the candle, if it consolidates down here, usually what happens is it's gonna break down. We're hoping that doesn't happen. There was a massive sell-off a couple of days ago. We need more volume to enter the market, although it's it had a bullish line right here, that it formed higher highs, lower highs, but of course this red candle right here broke all of that. Let's look at it on maybe the 1-hour chart so we can see that a little bit closer. Yeah, so in the consolidated here, you could have potentially made a play here and bought up that. That would have been about 7% if you were able to break into that. Let's look at the RSI chart. So yeah, if you had made a play down here, for me personally, I did not, because it's just too many factors that are sort of, I'm not comfortable in making that trade. But as you can see, if you did buy in here and you would have been able to make that percentage, you would have earned about 10% or so. But it's definitely hitting some major resistance, although there are still some signs that it's still some trend line right there. It's formed a new channel in this particular area right here. I'm looking at the 1 hour chart, so it's currently moving up and down that channel, but usually that might be a sign that it's going to break down here and then touch and maybe bounce off on this the 50-day EMA, right? I mean 50-day moving average line. So we're gonna have to see how that all pans out, guys, and watch out how it does within the markets itself. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. Let's move into some news, right? Let's move into some news, guys. So let's so basically the first news that I want to be able to share with you guys is the National Assembly, this is in South Korea, calls for measures to allow ICO. So that's really, really good. Again, this is another notch on the belt of cryptocurrencies that, governments that formerly, were not bullish on cryptocurrencies are now sort of turning their opinions around and are more keen to allowing these type of opportunities. But of course, they need to put in place regulations that are, that would protect their citizens, because that's the thing. There's a lot of scams out there that we need to be able to be protected with, because the market is so young that it's still susceptible to market manipulation and a lot of these scams, because there's not a lot of data for us to work with. So that's something that we continually need to watch out for, guys. So the other bit of news that I want to be able to share with you guys was the South African investment firm is going to launch a cryptocurrency exchange with about $14.5 billion, right? So Signia Asset Management, they're a major South African investment firm, is going to look into being able to launching their exchange towards the tail end of about, this year, 2018. So their CEO, Magda Wizerka, said that the cryptocurrency market is evolving at a rapid pace internationally and domestically, and is attracting both domestic and international flows, right? So they want to be able to capitalize on that and not lose out. So with its fintech focus, Signia is well positioned to become the first major financial service institution to embrace cryptocurrencies and to offer investors a secure trading and execution platform backed by an international structure, well-designed custody, and integration with standard savings product that they currently offer to their customers. So that's really good news, guys. So we're gonna keep watching this, and we're definitely welcoming a lot of these good news from institutions, right? We need, like I told you guys yesterday, most of the plays that are happening, people are, there's people that are shorting the market, that take profits, and there's traders like you and I that take profits every time there's a gain because we're afraid it's going to go down, right? There's a lot of unpredictability and volatility in the market that, sometimes is not even influenced that much by good news. It seems to negatively be impacted by negative FUD, but positive news like this seems like, it doesn't make a dent. So it's definitely confusing in a way, but definitely that is one of the reasons why we need more institutional money to come into the space, so that we, there will be buy orders that can actually be executed, because there's not enough buyers right now in the crypto market, right? So the next bit of news is basically about Titanium, right? So Titanium was saying that they were, they had partnerships and all that with Disney, with PayPal and all that stuff, which was all a lie, right? So the SEC charged Titanium ICO founders for over false statements, right? So basically they charged the company president with securities fraud. That is big, guys. Michael Stolaire has been accused alongside his firm Titanium Blockchain Infrastructure Services with violating SEC's anti-fraud and registration provisions in connection with a multi-million-dollar token sale, right? So the head of SEC's Enforcement Division Cyber Unit, Robert Cohen, said this ICO was based on a social media blitz that alleged deceived investors with purely fictional claims of business prospects, right? Having filed multiple cases involving alleged fraudulent ICOs, we again encourage investors to be especially cautious when considering these as investments, right? So that's really, really bad news. I mean, the SEC's recently went after CentraCoin and their three founders for lying about the relationship with Visa and MasterCard that caused that coin to basically disappear from existence, because it is a scam. So there's a lot of scams that still exist in the market, but that shouldn't dissuade you from joining the cryptocurrency family, right? Because there's a lot of positive projects that are going to change the world. So that's why I always say you really have to know the coins, the opportunities that you're buying into, because it's like the dot-com era. You need to find the Amazons, you need to find the Facebook, you need to find the Googles that are going to be here for the long term, that has actually have some real world use cases. So, if you're evaluating coins, look at the team, look at the commits on GitHub, make sure that there's a lot of progress that are being made in those particular coins, because a lot of when companies do ICOs, they make so many promises. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be like 50 times the transactions per second of like an Ethereum, and then when they get there, there's not enough progress within the market, right? A good stable coin that I really find a lot of good opportunities with is Cardano, for example. They're working hard, although it's taking a major hit, right? Cardano itself, the price of Cardano has completely been obliterated in the last couple of months. But I still believe in the cryptocurrency, in that particular coin, because the project, the team that's behind it is very, very good. They're basically creating, they're basically like the Silicon Valley of the crypto space, right? So new coins and smart contracts can be put into the Ethereum virtual machine, right? And basically, they're improving on Ethereum. Charles Hoskinson is a former co-founder of Ethereum. So he basically took a lot of the great things about Ethereum and sort of built upon it and grew it. So I'm very, very bullish on that particular coin. Please don't take my advice as financial advice. I'm just a regular guy just studying these opportunities. I strongly suggest that you do your own research and invest in the coins that you find value in. All right. So just keep that in mind, guys. So the last bit of news that I want to be able to talk to you guys about is June 13th, 2008, right? So the Chairman Clayton and Commissioners Kara Stein, Michael Pioir, Robert Jackson, and Heister Pierce will be participating in an interactive event with investors at Georgia State University College of Law. So they're going to be talking about potentially, because this is all about investing in America, right? So they're potentially going to be discussing cryptocurrencies as well. I'm sure it's going to be a topic that's going to be brought up, and they may be able to provide some more clarity on their stance on how they're going to continue to regulate it, because they are already going after bad actors in the market. We want them to continue to do that, because of course it weeds out all the bad actors, so it leaves us with the quality projects that have long-term potential. So we got to watch out for what goes on in this state, and that's June 13th. So potentially whatever comes out of that news could help us make long-term decisions on the coins that we're invested in, and as well as future opportunities for ICOs and all that stuff, right? So keep that in mind, guys. So that's the Securities Exchange Commission meeting that is going to happen on June 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? So we're going to see how they're going to how this is going to be, it's going to play out. Let's see. I'm just clicking here. Let's see what else they're going to be talking about here. Yeah, so meet the people who help make Wall Street work for Main Street, right? So they didn't really yeah, so how fintech is changing your options, protecting your information in the digital age, finding information about companies you invest in, so they could be talking about ICO companies, right? That you might invest in, and investing in mutual funds and ETF. You know, we need, if we can get a Bitcoin ETF and a Ethereum ETF, that's gonna be very, very good, because that means that there will be a lot more money that comes into the space for us to be able to work with, right? More volumes means the market caps will increase, and potentially that would be a catalyst for a major bull run, which we are still waiting for. I mean, we're still in a corrective phase right now. We haven't hit back the all-time highs, which we're hoping for to be able to do this year. Maybe not on all coins, but some of the really quality projects that do deserve the recognition that and the market recognition, and as well as the market support, right? So we'll see how this all pans out, guys. All right, well, that's it for today. I mean, it's about 30 minutes into the video. I want to try to keep it short, and we'll talk more about it. We'll talk about more about the markets tomorrow and see what goes on, and we're going to keep an eye on how Ethereum and Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto markets respond to the little bit of a bullish sentiment that has happened today. All right, well, again, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please, again, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please smash the likes, guys. Smash the likes, and as well as comment below. Help me out. Give me your feedback so that we can be able to grow this rat grind community. All right, guys. So until I see you guys on the next video, I wish you and your family a success-filled day. Good night, guys. I love you guys. Bye.